Hi, this is Jason Frame, author of the book on excuses. The No Excuses, Change Your Life and Create the Life You've Always Wanted manual. I help people who are struggling make simple, quick, and lasting changes in themselves so they can reach their full potential in life. Have you ever had these challenges? Have you ever stopped yourself flat in your tracks before you ever began something? Have you ever wanted more but thought, I'm not good enough or I'm not qualified enough to get it? Have you ever thought you were too old to start something? Or in my case, too young? Well, if you didn't know, me too! I know that over the years I have held myself back from a majority of things that I really wanted to do. I would get this great idea and then within a matter of days or sometimes hours or maybe even minutes, I would talk myself out of it. I would think, nah, I couldn't possibly do that. I'm not an expert and I'm not old enough. And I've never done anything like that before. And I don't even know where to start. And this was a big one for me. What if everyone else makes fun of me? Or what if I fail? See, years ago, I got offered this big opportunity to go into business with somebody, and after hearing from others about how the idea would never work and how stupid and crazy I was for thinking it would, I decided not to do it. Now, some of these comments came from some of the people that should have been supportive. People like my family members, and it hurt. It hurt bad. See, these people not only attacked the idea, but they threw me under the bus and they attacked me with harsh comments as well. And these comments carried on with me in my life. Things that I really used to get excited about, I no longer seem to get as psyched or as pumped up as I used to be. And I found myself more and more coming up with reasons to justify why I wasn't ahead in life and, where I wish I was. When I finally took a serious look at my life, I noticed something. I found an old notebook of my goals and I looked at them. And when I looked where I was and where I wanted to be and what I had written down about why I was there, going to get there and everything, honestly, I started asking myself some questions and the answers surprised me. Well, I noticed I wasn't very happy with myself and my progress in life thus far, and I noticed that I seemed to have a reason why I hadn't achieved each of my goals. Now, while this reason seemed good, the harder I looked into it, the more I realized that every reason I had why I didn't get this or didn't do that or hadn't achieved this or that was nothing more than an excuse. Seriously, I seemed to have one excuse after another. And I had excuses for why I couldn't. I had excuses for why I didn't. I had excuses for why I let other people tell me what to do. Excuses. Now, when I figured this out, I decided enough was enough. I decided that I was going to create a plan, a system to fix this issue in my life. And since the issue of excuses was affecting every area of my life, I began writing down every excuse I found myself saying and every excuse I heard other people saying. See, now over the next few years, I took each excuse and wrote down a better plan for dealing with it when it came up. A better way of thinking about it, and the reasons why each excuse was not valid, was not a good reason, and why it was not going to hold me back anymore. You see, the old method of positive thinking garbage wasn't working for me. Now, I believe that positive thinking is important, but saying that there's no weeds in my garden, is not going to work. Those weeds are going to take over your garden. So what you need to do is rip them out and rid your garden of those weeds. See, that's why I created my book, the book on excuses. I wanted a reminder that I could use every time a weed, or shall I say excuse, came into my life. I'd now have a resource, a manual that covered each and every excuse I'd heard or used and exactly what to do about it. See, this complete manual covers over 250 excuses in every area of life, from business to home life to money to your thoughts to other people's jabs at you to opening your own business and more. Now, for instance, my earlier example about the business deal and my family members telling me how dumb it was, I learned that, Maybe they were trying to help me in their own way. When they were probably more concerned, though, about themselves in this instance. You see, I learned that because of possibly their own fears in this case, the fear of me becoming too successful and leaving them, or the fears that I would be gone too much, or that we didn't have the financial means to risk it, or just their fears of the unknown. I mean, this was a brand new idea. It was a brand new company entirely, and nothing like this had ever been done before. Now that can be scary for a lot of people. Well, as you know, that person I made up a lot of excuses, and that person, well, I'm sure he heard the same stuff too, but he didn't listen. See, and he made this great multimillionaire company. But see, I've learned a lot. I've learned that having excuses will not get you where you want to go. I learned that listening to other people's excuses will never get you on where you want to go either. I quit allowing myself to use excuses. I chose to accept full responsibility for everything in my life. No longer listening to other people's excuses. Now, sure, I hear them. But now I know the hidden real reasons behind them. I took the time to break that down in the book. And since I've been taking complete control of my life since then, I took up flying. I went from being scared and shaky in front of people to becoming a professional speaker. I closed one of my businesses that I was holding on to just in case and opened up 2 more companies in new fields. I have become an author and a coach, and now I want to help you. I believe that you too can achieve more in life, regardless of where you are right now. I think you would agree with me that there's more out there. I mean, think about it. That this isn't the best you have to offer. Can you agree? You can be more. You can do more. You can have more. Remember, back to when you were a kid and you thought you could become anything. Maybe you thought that you would become an astronaut or the president of the United States. I mean, you had those dreams. You had those visions. But what happened? Life. Little by little, you started making up excuses for why you didn't do this or why you couldn't do that. I mean, excuse after excuse after excuse until you just accepted whatever life gave you. Now think again. What if you went back in time and did what you dreamt about? What if you hadn't allowed yourself to make excuses about why you couldn't? What if you didn't listen to all those people that told you it wasn't possible, or that you weren't good enough, or smart enough, or popular enough? What if you had done it anyway? Would your life be different now? You bet it would! So why not change that? Why not decide today to change your life? And it's not too late, and you're not too old. I mean, come on. Colonel Sanders didn't even open the first KFC until he was in his 60s, and he had over 600 locations just 10 years later. So why not be the next big thing? What have you been putting off? What have you been too afraid to do? What if you had a resource, a reference guide to help you along the way every time you had a negative thought or came up with an excuse? Well, here it is. That's what the book of excuses, my book on excuses, is going to help you do. It's going to help you create the life you've always wanted. It has done that for me, and I believe it can do the same for you. Okay, we've covered a lot here, and you're probably wondering, hey, how do I get a copy? But before I tell you that, let me finish with this. That story from earlier, that business proposition, that one I didn't do because I had too many excuses and I listened to everyone else. That business made over $300 million last year alone. Okay, now if that's not enough of a reason to get over these excuse issue in your life, I don't know what is. I mean, here's what you do. Go to thebookofexcuses.com and get yourself a copy of this book. You'll be glad you did. Don't wait. Do it now. You're not making excuses, are you? Go get the book. You can also find me on Amazon.com or my website at jasonframe.com. Be sure to sign up for the daily success tips videos. Like me on Facebook and Twitter. I send out different stuff every day. Tips and tricks and videos and posters and motivational stuff. Get the book on excuses. Do yourself a favor. Quit making excuses in your life. Until next time, I'm Jason Frame. Remember, what you choose to do or not do will determine your life. Whether you realize it or not, what you're doing every day is shaping and molding where you're going to be in 5 years. Why don't you decide where you're going to be in 5 years and work towards that?